Right. Let's get the show on the road. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Winnetka Village Council regular virtual meeting for February 2nd, 2021. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask that everybody either mute or turn off your cell phone or other electronic devices and mute your microphone when you're not speaking to improve the sound quality of the meeting. I'll ask Rob to do a roll call for attendance.
Certainly. Trustee Apatow?
Here.
Trustee Dearborn?
Here.
Trustee Coladarchi?
Here.
Trustee Kripe?
Here.
Trustee Swerk?
Here.
President Rintz?
Here. All right, the next order of business is the pledge, and I will perform the pledge this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, Rob, next item is quorum. Would you like to check quorum for the upcoming meetings?
Certainly. So the two meetings for February that are left are the 9th and the 16th. Those dates look okay for everybody? Okay, great. And then March 2nd, first meeting in March. Okay, if there's any conflicts, as always, just let us know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Item number 4, public comment. This is the time of the evening where members of the community can address council on any of the items that are not on the current agenda. Kristen, do we have any written correspondence or human beings who wish to speak to us for public comment this evening?
President Rintz, we received no comments in advance in writing. At this time, I'd like to recognize that we do have members of the audience in the room. And at this time, I'd like to check and verify that everyone in the audience is comfortable using the raise their hand feature on the Zoom platform. So if everyone in the audience could please at this time, use the raise hand feature and keep your hand raised. Okay, thank you. I'm going to lower all hands. So at this time, I would like to ask if anyone in the audience would like to comment on an item that's not on the agenda this evening. If you could please use the raise your hand feature and you'll be recognized. I see no hands, President Rintz.
I want to send out a acknowledgement to the Winnetka Park District Board President, Mickey Archambault, who is joining us this evening. Hi, Mickey. You can just raise your hand and wave. Okay. So, gotta have some fun with this thing. Okay. Item 5 is reports. Does any trustee have a report this evening? Feel free to raise your hand. Andy.
Just want to thank our village team for the snow removal. They were amazing. It was wet, heavy stuff. They were working around the clock. It was amazing. It was impressive at how fast they cleared it. Driving around other places outside of the village, it wasn't so good. Working downtown, there's still mounds of snow everywhere downtown. So great work.
Great. Jack, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Bob.
No, I don't, Jack.
Okay. I had a couple of good things come out of landmark preservation in the past meeting. First is that 740 Ardsley, the house over by Rob, the property's been taken off the demolition permit. And it looks like it may resell, which would be excellent news. That would save a sort of an iconic house in the neighborhood. The attention paid to the property and I think the community involvement really made a difference. And I think that is coming on the heels of a couple of other properties where we've done the same thing. So I think that was really, really big deal. The other thing we had was a property at 1015 Star, which is the Frank Lloyd Wright inspired house. We have a developer who in the first couple of meetings was very intent on taking the house down and did not appear to be interested in anything other than just taking it down. After a lot of questioning and discussion back and forth last night, he voluntarily offered to take the house off the market for 90 days and to attempt to market it to to people who might be interested in purchasing an older Frank Lloyd Wright style house to see if the house can be saved. This was a 180-degree change in attitude for him. And so we tabled his demolition permit until the May meeting, and he'll try to market it. And part of the deal was that he agreed to make a good faith effort to sell it and would put it on MLS. And it really was an outstanding decision. And I think that that was something that was, all the commissioners were very surprised by his offer and by his change of heart. We know that this may not change the end result for the building if he can't find somebody who will purchase it. But it may. Yeah, there might be somebody out there. I heard from a real estate person today that houses are selling like crazy in Winnetka, and they're not demanding that it be a brand new house. They're buying up anything they can get their hands on. And because I heard that indirectly, I can't say for sure that that's true, but it gives me hope that we may be able to stem the tide of these demolitions. And then the last one is that there was a house called 82 Essex, which is known as I think the Stone House, and it's another house that's been listed for demolition. It's over on Essex, just south of Winnetka Avenue, a real famous house. When we've been receiving correspondence from basically all over the world asking that something be done to try to save the house. We made a motion to continue this over to next month in order to try to assess to get a better, it looked like that particular hearing might take a while, and we already had a lot going on yesterday. But that's a property. It would be great if we were able to save that and find somebody who appreciated the house and was willing to save it. Again, it's a very interesting house. The architect actually, after he designed this house and lived in it for a number of years, moved to Australia and laid out and designed the capital city of Canberra. So there's a ton of history related to this house, not just the house itself. So anyways, that's a long report to say that it was really been a successful day yesterday. And I hope that we're able to save 82. Thank you.
It's great, Jack.
I guess I think Chris is saying me. So just one real quick follow-up with Jack's comments. The 740 Yardley house, and I'm being the president of the association here. I have to, it is indeed happening. That house is not only taken out of demo, it is being resold. It is imminent, I should say, but it wouldn't happen without, I got to give a lot of credit to the sellers. The people who owned it briefly, they got in, they came in from the city, they didn't quite realize what the importance of that house. And I got to give a lot of credit to them for realizing they want to be a part of this community. And so they're going to find another spot to do what they want to do. But I spoke with the owner, the current owners that will be selling it. And I just thanked them. I said, the community really appreciates this. You really understood it. You want to be a part of this community, and just tremendous kudos to them, and also to the family that's potentially moving in there, which I won't talk about names right now, but it's truly a win-win for everybody. So I appreciate all the work the commission has done, and And I appreciate, it still takes reasonable people, and they were great. So I give them a lot of credit. Thank you.
Chris, I think you're muted.
Trustee Swerk, any report this evening?
No report, thank you.
Trustee Dearborn?
No.
Okay. We'll move along then. Village Attorney, any report this evening?
No report, thank you.
Okay, Village Manager, any report?
No report this evening, other than thank you for your comments on snow removal. They continue. They worked overnight the last couple nights and be working again tonight. There's just a lot of snow to move, but they're staying at it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Village President, I do not have a report this evening. We'll move on to item number 6, approval of the agenda. Does any trustee wish to remove an item on the consent agenda for a separate vote? Show me a hand.
Chris, can I ask, is there an opportunity to ask a question on the minutes that were presented or not?
I don't know about this procedure stuff once it's on consent. I see Rob and Peter both saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, it's a quick one.
I would just take the motion to approve and during discussion on the consent, then you can comment on it.
Fine enough. Okay.
Okay, 1 second then, Rob. May I have a motion to approve the final form of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Now, any discussion?
I have a question. And maybe it's for Peter on how you're approaching this. On the comment on page 8 of the agenda packet, where at the absolute last sentence of the issue on the demolition and so on, we say the provisions would sunset 1 year after the comprehensive plan update project is completed. I'm assuming that contemplates that the comp plan will address this issue. I mean, that they don't just sunset if the issue isn't addressed in one form or fashion within the comprehensive plan. I mean, I remember we talked about it at the end there, that the comp plan would take this up, but I just don't remember that everything would go away 1 year after the plan was completed.
Yeah, Bob, the intent of that was to pressurize it and make sure that it didn't get lost in the 50 other things that are going to be actionable once we receive the comprehensive plan. So the idea is to force quick action on it once we had the plan in front of us. You do make a good point. The year is supposed to start after the council accepts and adopts the comprehensive plan. So, but no, the idea was to keep it in the forefront and make sure that we deal with it within a year after we get the findings from the comp plan. So
yeah, that's fair enough. Peter, just let's define it that way, I guess.
Yeah, the other way to do that, and you'll see when we provide the draft, it may be, because that may be easy to lose, like the village president was just indicating as a risk. It may be that we just know when we do the comprehensive plan, we have to amend that other ordinance to do what we wanted, otherwise it'll continue. So there's a couple ways to skin the cat on that.
Okay. That was my only point.
okay, thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. Rob, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Dearborn,
Yes.
Trustee Apatow,
Yes.
Trustee Caladarchi,
Yes.
Trustee Swerk,
Yes.
Trustee Kreip.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. We'll move forward with the consent agenda. I'm going to ask the village clerk to read the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Approval of the village council minutes for January 12th, 2021 study session. Approval of the warrant list dated January 15th, 2021 through January 28th, 2021 in the amount of $1,143,038.31. Resolution number R13, 2021, purchase of a police vehicle. Resolution number R14, 2021, approving a Fifth Amendment to a license agreement with New Singular Wireless PCS. Resolution number R15, 2021, approving change order number 1, street rehabilitation program. Resolution number R16, 2021, emergency snow plowing shared services agreement. and resolution numbers R17, 2021 and R18, 2021, establishing manager and department head salaries for adoption.
Great, thank you, Rob. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda by omnibus vote?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Caladarchi,
Yes.
trustee Kripe,
Yes.
trustee Swerk,
Yes.
trustee Dearborn,
Yes.
trustee Apatow.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That motion carries. Moving on to item 8, ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number M5 2021 928 Green Bay Road, Kaler Design Special Use Permit Renewal. This is up for introduction and adoption, if you guys want to go that way. At the last regular meeting, the council discussed this request at some length to renew the special use permit for Kaler in Hubbard Woods and directed staff to draft an approval ordinance. David's here to give us a brief review, and then hopefully we can move on from there. David?
President Rentz, I really have nothing more to add other than we prepared the ordinance as directed by council. And if anyone has questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any follow-up questions from last week?
David, that is a fantastic review. Thank you.
Way to do it. Okay, Kristen, anybody in the public wish to address this issue?
If you would like to comment on this issue, would you please use the Zoom, raise your hand? I see no hands raised, President Rentz.
Awesome. All right. Anybody have anything to throw in here before we move forward on the voting exercise? Okay. We okay about waiving introduction? Anybody who against it, raise your hand. Looks good. Okay. Do I have a motion to waive introduction of ordinance number M5 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Got a second. Roll call vote?
Trustee Apatow,
Yes.
trustee Kripe,
Yes.
trustee Caladarchi,
Yes.
trustee Swerk,
Yes.
trustee Dearborn.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Now may I have a motion to adopt ordinance number M5 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Dearborn,
Yes.
trustee Apatow,
Yes.
trustee Swerk,
Yes.
trustee Caladarchi,
Yes.
trustee Kripe.
Yes.
That motion carries. Alex, if you're out there, good luck. Thank you. And we look forward to stopping by when the weather gets a little nicer and COVID finally goes away. So, okay, moving along here. Let's see here, 6. Okay, resolution number R19 2021. Extension of Lakeshore Recycling Services Agreement. This is up for adoption. The village's contract for recycling services is expired. Staff has been negotiating a 1-year extension, and here to explain is Director of Engineering, Jim Burnell. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. All right, great. Good evening, everybody. Okay, I swear David and I didn't plan the same outfit, so even though we have the same blue shirt, I think we had the same tie. That's okay. So the agenda here before you this evening is for the approval, as President Rentz noted, as an extension with Lakeshore Recycling Systems for the continued collection of the village's recycling program for an additional 1 year and 4 months. So just a little quick background history here. On December 15th of 2015, the village entered into a contract with Lakeshore Recycling for the collection of the residential, residential, commercial, and institutional materials. This contract was for a 5-year term, and that term expired on January 31st of this year. During the term of the contract, the village has maintained a very good working relationship with Lakeshore Recycling. Lakeshore Recycling has been very responsive to staff's calls, at missed collections, things like that, and has also assisted the village with the annual spring cleanup program, which was not originally part of their original contract. So the relationship has been good. As part of the original agreement, the village had the option to extend the contract for an additional year. Because of the good working relationship, Lakeshore Recycling was amenable to working with the village on that extension. So that's how we got to where we are now. Since the initial proposal in 2015, the recycling market has changed dramatically, as we've all seen due to COVID and just the economy overall. Material recovery revenues have declined to the near zero. And while collection costs have continued to increase and disposal options have been reduced on where we can take material to. So as a result, the village's current contract with Lakeshore is significantly below market value. Staff reached out to Swank to check to see if we could get some information on the current market trends. And they've indicated that current recycling contract monthly pricing is closer to a range of around $6.90 to $7 per house on some of the more recent bids that they've seen. So considering the changes in the market condition and in recognition of our excellent service with Lakeshore Recycling, staff and Lakeshore have discussed the possibility of a rate that is slightly closer to the current market value. We want to incentivize for both parties. So under the current 2020 pricing, the village, we're paying approximately $4.32 a month per home for residential service, and that includes townhomes, and which equates for approximately $222,341 annually. In addition, the village is paying $30.67 per month for the collection of commercial recycling dumpsters that are located throughout the 3 commercial district areas. This is an annual cost of the village as well as of $15,457. In 2020, the village's recycling expenses in total totaled about $237,799. So just to kind of keep in perspective. So the proposal before you this evening, Lakeshore is proposing an additional $1 per month increase in the residential rate in exchange for adding an additional 4 months to the extension to allow the village some additional flexibility in examining its bidding strategies for a future contract that may include additional services. Under the proposal, the cost for monthly curbside residential recycling would increase from $4.32 per home to $5.37 per home, which is the contractual consumer price index increase plus $1. This would equate for a new annual total of about $276,383. The commercial rate would stay as it is under the current contract terms. This would project an annual recycling expense from 2021 of about $291,840. So this is an increase of about $54,000 or 22%, a little over 22% from where we are now. So considering the effects of the market, the recycling budget was increased significantly in 2021. In our current budget, we contain about $391,000 for both residential and commercial recycling collection. The proposed rate increase by Lakeshore Recycling would be about $99,160 below the village's budget amount, so we're definitely within budget. In addition to the proposed rate increase, the 2015 contract also includes a revenue sharing provision that was provided to the village with a percentage of the revenue derived from the village's recycling materials, or about $10 a ton, whichever was greater. Because the market for the recycled materials has virtually dried up and is near zero, excuse me, Lakeshore has also proposed eliminating this $10 per ton rebate floor, which would reduce the village's budget revenues by about $10,000. So in your packets this evening in front of you is the village attorney has prepared the attached letter agreement that would extend the current contract with Lakeshore Recycling for recycling services with the rates discussed here this evening through May 31st of 2022. All the other terms and the conditions of the current contract would remain the same and would remain in place. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Jim? Rob?
I just had a quick one. So the market you said is dried up for recycling. It's just, I've heard some of this. I'm just curious in a really quick format. Is that for the foreseeable future? Is this just now refuse spaces versus recycling? I'm a little confused on where the recycling is going then.
Sure.
Or is it just refuse? now?
It's just recycling materials, the hard materials themselves. So what they're seeing is originally years back, China would buy those products and they would be used to make new products on it. There's just not a market for it anymore. And so with the economy, the way that the economy has been, these recycling contractors can't sell the hard filtered out product to it. So that's what you're seeing. So there's no place to take it to. And so there's the revenue that they're making off it is basically at a zero wash. So what they are turning in, it's a net loss for them.
Right.
But is it still being recycled, or is it just being thrown into refuse in the regular?
No, it's still being recycled. There's just not a value for it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And in the 30 some years that Chicago market has been recycling materials, we've had market, pardon me, we've seen the market go up and down. And this
Okay.
is one of these periods that we think it's going to be down for some time. There's obviously a COVID impact, but there's also, the impacts with China. The other aspect is that packaging has changed over the last few years. There's less glass, a lot less tin and aluminum, a lot more plastic.
Right.
And so that's also changed the composition of the market as well.
Oh, one other follow-up question. We're up $1 per house per month, correct?
Correct. That's what you proposed, right?
Is that something we want to lock in for longer, or they wouldn't lock it in if we wanted to do it, if we wanted to extend for another 2 years?
This was as long as we could get under that pricing.
Right.
And we thought that a 16-month out cycle should put us in a pretty good spot to test the market again.
Okay.
And, Rob, one thing I'll say, we talked a little bit about this when I was on the EFC as the liaison, looking at the garbage situation. And one of the reasons I get so passionate about the garbage situation is because, China issued something called the National Sword a couple of years ago, where they said, we're not taking your crap anymore because there's so much contamination in it, including in our recycled goods. And big electronics resellers were literally burying stuff in big pits in China. And I've been involved with a little bit of the litigation around that. It's a disaster. So they said no more. So that stuff is staying here. And that's, I know there's a lot of anxiety about what we're doing with anything touching the garbage service in this town. People used to say it's a third rail. I personally don't care about third rails because the hell, I get paid the same either way. I think we need to do the right thing. But I think when we hear people expressing that consternation, we got to keep this in mind. This is just because we're not seeing it in our tiny little village. It's a big problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Others? Bob?
So Jim, and Rob, what is the strategy in terms of entering negotiations? Taking into account what Andy just said, I mean, are we going to 6 months from now start engaging other contractors looking for long-term arrangements? I mean, we're extending this, but we're kind of up against a hard spot here, it seems to me.
So to respond to you, Trustee Dearborn, I think we've actually secured in pretty competitive pricing for the 16 months.
No, I agree with that.
The strategy is threefold. One, we have to buy a little bandwidth to implement the curbside container program, which is underway right now. Once the economy is less impacted by COVID, we want to move out of the commercial collections, as we've discussed with you. We don't want to cause uncertainty for the business community at this time, so that's on hold. And I would say in about 11 to 12 months is when we would go out to bid, so that we have plenty of time before the end of this contract for a new contract to be in place, whether it's with Lakeshore or somebody else.
So basically 4 months before this,
we would hope to have good results.
is the right timing.
Yeah. So about a year, we'd have to get the final details pinned down of the timetable, but the goal here would be to go out to the market, take in bids, see what's best for the village, and go from there. There's also a possibility of negotiating with Lakeshore, but this may be a good time. This would have taken the original contract, 5 years or 6 years and 4 months. So it'd be a good time to test the market.
And Rob, how many contractors are there in this area for recycling?
See, there's Groot, there's Waste, there's Lakeshore, Flood. know of anybody else? There's what, 4 or 5, Jim?
4 or 5?
Group
Yeah.
waste management. Yeah, those are usually the
Waste
big boys.
management, right?
Okay,
Right.
all right, so there's
And
competition.
we wouldn't be doing this in a vacuum as a member of the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County. We would seek their help in
Mhm.
crafting the bid document to be in alignment with market, and hopefully we'd get some pretty good interest.
Okay. Okay, good enough, thank you.
Yep.
Hey, other questions? I do want to make clear one thing is we are really cutting Lakeshore a breather here because we had all the rights in the world to just insist that they perform under the old rate without any assistance from us. So, you know, we've stepped up and are doing what I think is the right thing for a longer term partnership. And hopefully they recognize that and, you know, focus more on their positive collection activities. I've noticed lately a lot more stuff ending up on the street than I have in the past.
Yeah.
And if it's a combination of we're not making any money and now we got to go faster or do it more efficiently, then that's something that's not going to cut bait here with this village. So I hope they recognize that we did them a huge favor by being willing to even have this conversation, and that it furthers the relationship going forward. So anyway, that's my statement on it. Anybody in the audience, Kristen?
This time, would you please use the Zoom platform to raise your hand if you'd like to speak on this agenda item? President Rentz, I see no hands raised.
Right. Anybody else want to bite at this apple before I move to votes? Don't see any. That's great by me. Okay, may I have a motion to adopt resolution number R19, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Apatow,
Yes.
trustee Kripe,
Yes.
trustee Swerk,
Yes.
trustee Caladarchi, trustee Caladarchi.
He nodded.
Yes,
Yes,
sorry.
okay, sorry, I didn't see you. And trustee Dearborn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that motion carries. Thanks. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Okay,
you, Jim. Good work.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
next item, resolution number R20, 2021, 67 Briar Street. Sounds familiar. Gilchrist re-subdivision, extension of approval. The owners of the subject property were granted approval of a plat of subdivision on March 5th, 2019, which expires this March. This have been affected by the pandemic, and they have requested an extension to complete the subdivision process by March 5th, 2023. And David's here to review that.
Yes, so just briefly, the plat has yet to be recorded to create the 2 lots because the home that is on the site has yet to be demolished. We cannot record the plat because the existing home would fall over the proposed lot line, and you cannot have a principal structure crossing a lot line. So the plat hasn't been recorded as the applicant is waiting to demolish the house. And they have indicated that due to the pandemic, they have not been able to move forward with their project. And so they're requesting, as President Rentz mentioned, a 2-year extension. And they are here present to be able to explain further where they're at with the subdivision plat.
Okay. Would the members of council like to hear from the applicant, or is there any? You would, Bob. Okay. Kristen, go ahead and bring up the applicant and have them join us here at the table.
So I've promoted the applicant to panelist. So Rosemary, if you could please follow the prompts on the screen to unmute your microphone welcome.
Hello.
Thank you.
You guys want to tell us a story?
Yeah, I guess we were hoping to be rolling already on this, but I think the COVID has somewhat slowed us down somewhat. I think we came to that realization probably about September, October of last year. We've got really no ability to kind of do this right now. Partly as a function of my salary being reduced because of COVID. As a principal in a architectural practice, all principals have taken an 20% salary cut. So that somewhat impacted us in terms of trying to get refinance. But as was explained, we need to move out of our house to be able to demolish, and everything's sort of conspired against that to this point. So it's really on that basis that we're coming back to you. 2 years seems rather a long time, but we just don't know when COVID and normality is coming back. So rather than having to come back to you in 9 months' time and say, hey, we're still not there, we just thought we'd take this opportunity to ask for a 2-year period. We're really not hoping it's going to take that long. We are desperate to do this. We wanted to be in there already, but we're not at that point. So that's kind of really where we are. It's kind of as simple as straightforward as that, as far as we're concerned. So
Sure. All right. Members of council, any questions for the applicant or and I see Bob, you're chomping at the bit. So
Yeah, no, I agree with this. It's fine and dandy. I'm just curious, and I did not drive by the house. I apologize, but there's a house it's an empty house that's on.
No, we live in the house. It's a 50s ranch house, but it does straddle both plots. So in order to progress the subdivision, we basically have to move out, demolish, and live somewhere else.
I see.
And, that is too much for us to kind of deal with at this moment in time. So
I misunderstood. I apologize. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked to bring you on. So good luck with this.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I was just going to say, I remember the plans you had for it, and I'm looking forward to hopefully a couple years from now when you're successful. I think you've got a great plan envisioned, and we'll get through this. So yeah, I totally support the extension as well.
Thank you for your support.
Awesome. Kristen, any other members of the public like to weigh in on this before we go to vote?
If you'd like to make a public comment, would you please raise your hand at this time? I see no hands, President Wren.
Awesome. Well, seeing that there's no other comments on it, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to adopt resolution number, oh boy, I'm lost again.
Hey, Chris, while you think about that, I have one quick thing that just came.
Now you're going to confuse me, John.
I know. Can I bring it up though?
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that in light of the possible changes on demolition, this current house, did it go through the architectural review process for demolition yet? I just don't want them to get caught in a new ordinance possibly.
Yeah, I hear you.
So was this original house?
Has there been an application for demolition?
Not yet, no.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure that they're aware that if things change somewhere down the road, the demolition process may change approval process on that.
Understood.
Okay. Great.
There's no architectural review linked to the demolition.
No, but I guess I'm saying if, right,
Should
okay,
It should be clean, it sounds like.
okay. Or they haven't got to that point yet. Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I wanted to bring up.
Anybody else? Right. Okay, my computer is doing its nightly tap dance, so does everybody hear me still?
Yeah,
Yes.
we hear you.
Let's go then.
All your neighbors are watching cat videos on the internet.
I know one person who is.
Your dog.
Yeah, right. May I have a motion to adopt resolution number R20, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Trustee Kripe,
Yes.
trustee Caladarchi,
Yes.
trustee Apatoff,
Yes.
trustee Swerk,
Yes.
trustee Dearborn.
Yes,
That motion carries. Good luck, folks, and
thank you.
Thank you
Good
very
seeing you
much.
again.
Thank you.
Care.
All right, moving along, item D is resolution number R 21/2021. 844 Spruce, right-of-way license agreement. This is up for adoption. The owners of the former Savoci Glass Building on Spruce Street are proposing to open a bistro, which would include a raised terrace for outdoor dining. The owners have asked the village for approval to allow their slight encroachment onto the public sidewalk for their dining terrace. David is here to review the plan along with the proposed license agreement. And so I'll just turn it over to David. Go ahead.
Yes, so this image shows the existing facade and the applicant's proposed improvements, which, as President Rentz indicated, includes a raised patio. A small portion of it projects within the right-of-way. The Design Review Board has reviewed the proposed changes and has unanimously approved the design.
Awesome.
The proposed raised terrace is about 1.5 feet into the village right-of-way. The applicant has indicated doing this allows them to provide some additional seating while also providing the necessary walkways between the tables. The village engineer has reviewed the request and finds the improvements are compatible with the village's existing use of this portion of the right-of-way. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. The right-of-way agreement is our standard right-of-way agreement in terms of use of the right-of-way for such improvements. And Peter and I would be able to answer any questions you have on it.
Is that building I'm trying to think, it's a standalone building? There's another building to the west, which is kind of I'm not even sure what that is.
That's the apartment building that's owned by the church.
Correct.
The
Yeah,
church.
this is a freestanding building.
Okay, yeah, there's an alley in between it. Okay.
Correct. There's a driveway between it.
So it looks like, is there outside demo, or is you're just going to repurpose everything and clean it up?
Repurpose everything. I mean, there's going to be new windows, doors. Yeah.
So 1.5 feet, are they going to extend the sidewalk then? Or are they just going to narrow the sidewalk?
The sidewalk is going to stay the same dimension. So if we go back to a previous slide, it's currently lawn, the front yard. So there is lawn up to the current sidewalk.
Thank you. I got it now. I get the perspective.
Okay.
Well, it's a little bit of an improvement. Although I think I still have a picture frame that I wonder if I can still pick it up.
They're still in business, Rob.
I get it. It looks good.
Okay. Two things I would like to offer up as observations. Actually, I'll wait for you guys to speak. Anybody else have comments or questions?
Looks awesome.
John's work?
No comments, thanks.
Okay, two things I would recommend. I'm not going to make them part of our approval process, but number one is that little strip of grass between the new patio and the sidewalk should probably just be poured in with concrete. That grass will never grow in there, and it'll end up being just a collection bin and a place where pets relieve.
I'm glad that part was blocked out.
Before they enter the downtown
You're
area.
lagging,
So
Chris.
I would prefer to see that as just parts. Am I lagging?
Yeah, the dog's mad.
Never mind.
We got the gist.
I hate this thing. Before we, well, let's send it to the public. I know there's some folks from the restaurant here this evening. Wonder if they'd like to add anything, or if, Kristen, you want to bring them up?
Yes, I will.
The restaurant's called Pomeroy.
I think so, yeah.
Glenn Kiefer here. I'm sitting in for Ryan O'Donnell.
Hi.
Thank you for taking the time to review our plans.
Absolutely.
Wasn't that long ago that Chris was running by encouraging us to buy the space. He did, and here we are.
That's all it takes. Jeez.
Oh, thanks, Rob. Anyway, we're really looking forward to having you in town.
Thank you.
Definitely, and we are so excited. One thing that with you converting this into a more retail sort of a use, it really
Chris,
allows
you're
us
out.
to turn the downtown and start moving down Spruce. All right, never mind. I'm sorry. I've got a really bad internet connection, so I can't say nice things to you tonight.
Well, we appreciate the sentiment. Thank you.
What kind of can I ask what kind of restaurant it's going to be?
Casual French.
Casual French.
Yep.
Fantastic.
We're excited. We've had great success in Wilmette at Sophia Steak, and it's going to be the same team opening Pomeroy.
New chef or same chef?
We're going to have a different chef, someone who really has some chops for cooking French food.
But what's the, just out of curiosity, this is not to do with the approval tonight, but what's
No.
the interior and the capacity? Is there a bar? What exactly? I mean, I know the building
We're in the
is,
center of the space. There are lots of booths around the outside walls, several tables up front. The big challenge right now is we're also going to have some seating in the back, and we're just trying to figure out how badly these new variants of COVID are going to affect our business going forward, which is why it's so, we appreciate getting that variance for that 18 inches. It gives us the opportunity to put 4 more tables in.
Yeah.
And with what we know about outdoor dining now, it's really critical.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good point.
So in those front windows will be much like Sophia, they'll open so that we'll have more than 50% of our front wide open, which gives us some extra opportunity to introduce fresh air and therefore seat in the unfortunate event if we were to go backwards.
Yeah.
right. Right. It's fantastic.
Others?
It looks great.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
doing
look
it.
forward to being an opening night.
Yeah, we hope it's going to be about 17 weeks from now.
Okay.
And everybody gets a vaccination by then.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
True. Well, thank you. Kristen, is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak to this issue?
Could you please raise your hand at this time if you would like to make a comment on this issue? President Rintz, I see no hands.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from council? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adopt resolution number R2121.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Trustee Apatow,
Yes.
trustee Dearborn,
Yes.
trustee Caladarchi,
Yes.
trustee Swerk, trustee Swerk, I take that as a yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
trustee Kripe,
Yes.
and carries.
Motion carried. Thank you. Good luck. We're really looking forward to you opening up down there. It'll be really special.
Thank you so
Best
much.
of luck to you guys. Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Okay, moving along. Item number 9, old business, there is none. Item number 10, new business, there is none. Item number 11, appointments, there are none this evening. Item number 12, there is no closed session. And just to remind everybody that next week we'll be having a study session.
And we lost you, Chris.
That was the big reveal. What is it, Rob?
We're studying something.
You'll have to come back a little bit later once we are ready.
Yeah, you're back, Chris.
Okay. Can you tell I'm frustrated?
Yeah. You're
Chris,
handling
what's the
it.
study? What is the study session?
We're going to be revisiting village property, village
Got it.
owned property.
Got it.
Oh,
I'll be in touch with you tomorrow about the context and
Good.
plan. Thank you.
great.
Got to get stuff moving even in COVID, so we're going to give it a shot.
Good.
Okay, well, nothing else left here except to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Dearborn,
Yes.
trustee Kripe,
Yes.
trustee Swerk,
Yes.
trustee Caladarchi,
Yes.
trustee Apatow.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you tolerating me. Kristen, thanks again. Good job.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
See you later.
Good night.
Night.